Hi everyone, my name is Raza and I'm a part-time software developer. Today we will talk about basics of C#.NET programming, part number 4. Let's talk about flow controls and how we control the flow in our programs and applications. All of the C# code you have seen so far has been one thing in common. Each case program execution has proceeded from one line to the next in top to bottom order, missing nothing. So if you see the C# code, which you will later in this tutorial, you will see all the codes align in a very distinct order, and every line the compiler goes with the every line and it skips nothing. So it is proved that it goes from one line to the end of the lines on the code section, and it skips no line unless until it finds a comment in them. So if all applications work like this, then you have a limited what you could do. So to save ourselves from such a bummer, we will discuss the flow control in the program's applications. To control this program flow, in C# we use two methods. One is the branching and the second one is the looping method. Both of these require a Boolean logic to work through. Basically, a Boolean logic is just like the bool type, which we discussed in data types, but it is slightly different in the logistics and syntax difference. So we will discuss about the Boolean logic, which is the basic root of for the two methods, that is the branching and the looping methods. So let's talk about the Boolean logic first. Consider a situation in which you want to execute code based on whether a variable is less than 10. To do this, you need some indication of whether the statement variable is less than 10 is true or false. For that, you need to know the Boolean result of a comparison. Boolean comparison require the use of Boolean comparison operators, also known as relational operators, some of which are defined as follows. Let's talk about the Boolean comparison operators first. This operator is basically defines that variable 1 is assigned the value true if variable true and variable 3 are false, are true, or otherwise it will be considered as false. This operator is basically null operator, also known as the null operator. It defines when variable 1 is only true when variable 2 is not equal to variable 3, and so on. All the variables are stated here, as you can see. So take a minute, pause the video and read all the operators here. So let's move on to the next thing. All the above stated examples are for the binary operands, but they also work for the unary and ternary operands too. It is better to work with the ternary operand than with the binary operands, but binary operands much more considered than the unary operands. But there are some conditions like conditional operators and other operators like that, in which basically you need unary operators, and they work basically more appropriately on the unary operators than on the binary and the ternary ones. So let's talk about the next our operator, which is conditional operators. In mathematics, you have studied the conditional operators. In physics, you have studied the conditional operators. In hardware devices, some of you guys might be from the hardware side. You have studied the AND gate, OR gate, NOR gate, etc. So these all things are derived from the logical AND and logical OR thing. In computer, in C#, the AND gate is basically double AND sign, and the OR gate is this sign. We use this double sign to use it as a logical OR, and in this one, variable 1 is assigned the value if true, if variable 2 and variable 3 both are true, or false otherwise, also known as the logical gate. And the same goes with the OR gate, which is the variable 1 is assigned the value true if either variable true or variable 3 both are true, or false otherwise, also known as logical OR. So above mentioned logical operators or conditional operators are used in every domain. physics, mathematics, as I already told you guys. So let's talk about the Boolean assignments here. So these are the Boolean assignments, basically combining Boolean bitwise and assignment operators work in the same way as the mathematical assignment operators such as plus, equals, multiply, equals, and so on. So basically these are the sum of the Boolean operator assignment operators. And the first one shows that variable 1 is assigned the value that is the result of variable 1 and variable 2. So basically it is the combined result of variable 1 with the variable 2, and the other one is the assigned the value that is the result of variable 1 or variable 2. It doesn't have a distinction of add, so it caters the or situation here. So in the third one, the variable 1 is assigned the value that is result of either variable 1 or either variable 2. So there is no condition here. You can go with either variable 1 or variable 2. For example, the question variable 1 with this sign variable 2 is similar to the variable 1 equals to the variable 2 with this sign, where variable 1 is equal to 2 and variable 2 is equal to false. It is also known as the NOR logical, NOR logic, or XOR logic. Sorry, it is basically the XOR logic here. I have misunderstood the concept here. So basically it is the XOR logic here. So there is an important note here today, that note that the AND sign and the OR equal sign or assignment operators do not make use of the double AND logical and OR logical conditional or Boolean operators. That is, all operands are processed regardless of the value to the left of the assignment operator. We have gone too much far with the Boolean operators. Let's jump into the coding with these things. So let's code our very first Boolean operator code, in which we will code some of the things, and let's see what happens. Let's open our code here. Console app. Okay, let's erase the switch statement. Okay, let's code our very first console dot line. Here we will enter an integer. Don't forget to use a semicolon, otherwise it will give an error. Let's use the bool type, data type. But before that, let's initialize, use the integer data type in order to, and let's name our variable as var1, which is, there's also a method in the previous tutorial. You have seen that I have initialized the value in my variable after many lines, but here what I'm doing, I'm declaring plus initializing in one line. So basically the programming states that the less you code, the more optimized your code is, and the less time it takes to the for the compiler to compile through all the code you have given. So I'm gonna use a very smart way, which is declaring the variable and then initializing it in a single line. So let's just convert to int 32 definitely, and let's get the console 9 here. Okay, so let's initialize our data, declare our data type, our variable or data type bool. Let's name it as jar. One jar is also a data type. Okay, keep that in mind. So I will initialize it a value in which I will tell my variable 1 is smaller than 50. Okay, so let's move on to the second line, which we will declare the second tool type variable, in which we will do thing like var1 smaller than or equal to 0, and we use an AND logical conditional operator here. var1 smaller than or equal to 50. So that's it, and let's write into the console, onto the console. For that we will have to use console dot write line, definitely string interpolation. Sorry. In this we state as integer is less than 50. So it's question. So we put that here, and let's put our parameters inside it. Sorry, wrong sign. What is our parameter? That is var1 is smaller than 50. So the console dot write line string interpolation double integer is between 0 and 50. It is between 0 and 50. So definitely you know the answer, and we will do the thing here, that is chart2. You can also pass the variable, or you can also pass the initialized value here, so that is not any mistake you will go in. So basically console dot write line, which we will do the same thing as before. So here we will use XOR. Let's use the char1 XOR condition here, char2. Let's do the console dot key. Okay, let's can also drop down the menu here and start without debugging. Let's enter our, so you can see physically integer is less than 50. Definitely it is less than 50. Integer is between 20, 0 and 50. Definitely it is between 0 and 50, and exactly one of the above is true, and definitely it is true. But the thing here is that our integer 23 is between 0 and 50. Isn't that a true thing? So what is wrong here? That something is wrong here, which we are not getting here. Uh, Definitely this is the wrong thing here. That's why we have stated it a very wrong way, because it was variable 0 is smaller than or equal to variable 1. Definitely this was the wrong thing here, and I was confused what was happening here. And now we will do start with the without debugging. Let's do the same thing. Yeah, definitely. True, true, and false. Definitely, exactly. One of the condition is true. Now, the both the conditions are true, so definitely it is the false statement. So that was the error which we are having. So let's move to our next thing. Let's move to the branching one. So branching is the act of controlling which line of code should be executed next. Before that, I want to discuss some of the basic things like precedence of the operators. There are different operators you have discussed about. Like I will use the comment line here. So no other code gets harmed or gets commented. So we will use. Hey, what happened here? Oh yes. That's what happened here. So let's talk about the some things here, like operators precedence, like which operator should come first and which operator come after. Have you as you have seen these operators, the increment and the decrement operator. This is the most highest operator in the precedence table, which are the most uh, uh, very first, and after that comes the many operators like the uh, multiplying operator, and then the division operator, and then the remainder operator. Basically, it follows the Demas rule also, somewhat Demas rule, but not the all to all Demas rule. After that comes the double uh, smaller than or double equal than operator, and smaller than or equal than, and the smaller than or equal to, or the greater than or equal to operators. And after that comes the or operator and the and operator, and definitely the logical and the logical or. And after that comes the equals operator and the equal multiply operator, and so on. That basically this is the precedence that we follow in the programming in C sharp. These are basically used the highest when it is used as the prefix. When we use as a prefix before the sentence, the prefixes are there, are those, and then yeah, these are these govern the highest rank in the precedence table. And when these are used as suffixes, then if they are the lowest rank in the precedence table. Definitely these are also used as suffixes that we will do later in our codes. So definitely these comes at the end of the table of the precedence. When we use and when you use as a prefix, definitely when we use it in the our loops, for loops, and loops, while do loops, interrupting loops, infinite loops, that is totally a different topic. We will discuss about that in our next lecture. So we will you will see that in some areas we will use plus, increment and decrement operators as a prefix, and at some point we use add them as a suffixes. So suffixes refer to the end of the loop line, and the prefixes refer to the start of the loop line or the coding structure or the block or whatever you can say in your language. So this is the most important thing you have to keep in mind when you have thousands of lines of code, and you have to do debugging, and you are getting so much errors and bugs from your code. So these are the things that these are the precedences you have to keep in mind. That's why if you keep in these little things in your mind, then you will surely get no other type of debugs or errors in your code from this from the keeping this prefix in your time precedence in your mind. So let's talk about the branching here now. Branching is the act of controlling which line of code should be executed next. The line to jump to control by some kind of condition statement. The condition is based on the comparison between a test value and one or more possible values using Boolean logic. In C Sharp, we use three branching techniques definitely: the ternary operator, the if statement, the switch statement. Ternary operator is the simplest way to perform a comparison history by using the ternary operator. So you have already seen unary operator that works on the operand, and the binary operator that work on. Sorry, it is the last. It is basically the last tutorial, and you have already seen the operators that work on the operand and binary operator. You might have seen, let's consider this following example, like string char1 equals to the where variable 1 is smaller than the 10, and this is the ternary operator thing which we are using here. Like there are three variables and we are using two operators inside it. One operator is this one and the second operator is this one, which we are defining whether it is less than or whether it is greater than. So both statements will come when we enter the value accordingly. So if I enter the value 10 or 9, which is less than 10, definitely it will show less than on the console screen. Or if I enter the value 11, which is greater than 10, so it will show the greater than or equal to the 10. So this is how the ternary operator works. So let's talk about the if statement here. This is very important for us. The if statement is far more versatile, useful way to make decisions than a ternary operator. Unlike ternary statements, the if statements don't have a result, so you can't use them in assignments. Instead, you use the statement to conditionally execute other statements. So the result of the if statement cannot be assigned to a variable. You have to assign a value to a variable in a separate step. So basically, this is how an if statement works, and you just do the char1 thing and the variable thing. So let's dive in straight into the coding of the if statement. Let me remove this whole code. Start. Okay. I want to do a comparison, so I would like to do a comparison. So let name that variable a comparison, a string variable, in which we will do console dot line a number. Now let's declare a float type variable here. So name it as var1 and also convert it you can see, and this is how IntelliSense works. Help of the Visual Studio. It is very easy to code this small little thing. Okay, let's also write the another line, console dot write line, in which we will use Definitely we will use enter another number. I will use double, declare double variable here. So let's just convert to double. Line. Okay, that's it. Let's move on to the double. Let's move on coding the if statement, in which we will use the variable 1 is smaller than the variable 2, which will show the comparison as less than, and after that we will use the else statement, in which we will use some nested else if else statement. So let's put a condition variable 1 equals to the variable 2, and the comparison will show equals to, let's use the else 2, and comparison will show greater than that. Okay, let's write the conclusion here. I always forget the console. Dang it. Okay, so let's write the string interpolation, and first number we're using the comparison here, so comparison comparison will show what statement will come here. So is the first number is comparison, the second number. Okay, let's do the console dot read key. Okay, let's start debugging. Let's see what happens. Okay, the first number is 12 and the second number is 13. First number is less than the second number. Definitely totally correct answer, and we have executed our very first this statement. Let's move on to the switch statement. Basically, switch statement is similar to the if statement in that it executes code conditionally based on the value of a test. However, the switch enables you to test for multiple values of a test variable in one go. Rather than just a single condition, this test is limited to the discrete values rather than the clauses such as greater than, and etc. and etc. So its use is slightly different. However, it can be a powerful technique. You will see in the future tutorials. So stay tuned to my tutorials and lectures, and you will see much more to come here now. So on the completion of the code, in each section you have an additional command, which is also known as the break. It is illegal for the flow of the execution to reach a second case statement after one block, but Through the break command, it becomes easier for the compiler where one statement ends or breaks and where the other one starts. Let's code one example for you guys to understand what is the switch statement and how does it work. So let's erase this one, start our coding our switch statement. I'm gonna use a string literal, which is also known as constant written aliasly as a const in C# language. Basically, constant refers to a very fixed amount of characters to be written in a variable, which is of a string variable. Definitely, my name is definitely Ali Raza, so I'm gonna write it there. As you can see, I'm gonna declare. I'm also then initializing a value inside it. So let's also do the thing, my name, and then my gaming name, which I mostly use as a ghost. And the students back in school had a calling name for me, which was Newton. You can't believe me. You can't believe that, because I predicted many theories back then when I was a little child. Yeah. So let's do put the Newton here. Okay. That was it. Let's put our name here, which will be the string name, and let's do write that. Okay, let's it will ask what is your name, and we will enter our name here, and then it will go through the next. From here we will start the switch, coding the switch statement, in which we will use, you will see that we use name dot to lower, yani means from higher to the lower, with the name string name, which is with a variable name, which we have already declared. So this is how it's going to work now. Let's code inside these parentheses. This is how it's used, and you can see that it is at some points we use semicolon, at some points we don't. Where it is don't to be used, it will show a red squiggly underneath those semicolons. So we have to erase them definitely to avoid those errors and bugs as I use my name. So let's console dot write line, let's put you have a good name, a good boy. Yeah, sure, I am a good boy, since I'm not a good boy. Okay, before that, don't forget the break here. Okay, so let's move forward with the another case, which is the gaming name case. Console dot write line, and after that comes the ghost. So I will use, mostly my gamer friends say me that see you on the other side, ghost. Okay, so here we put the break here, and one of the another case which is the calling name case, and the colon here. In if statement we use semicolon. In switch statement, inside the switch code block we use colon with every after every case. Remember that in mind. Okay, guys. So let's do the uh, you got very weird name. Definitely weird as it sounds. Okay, so that is the break statement here. So let's move on to the where we write the what is your name. We have to tell what is my name, and it has to write some greeting message for me as I'm writing my name on the console. So let's put some right line here, and greetings, and we have name here definitely. So let's end this with read key. That's it. But there is some issue with this one. Is calling as the name, and unassigned local variable. Okay, why it is unassigned local variable? I couldn't get it. Oh, basically, we didn't enter the command of cons name equals to the console read line. Definitely, it will not read the name. Definitely, it was giving us the error at the switch statement because it wasn't reading what kind of name I have entered in the console. So I have to enter the command of the read line in order to make the compiler read what I'm entering my name and how I am entering my name, and after that it will use the readline command and read my name and then proceed on further, which is the switch block statement. So let's start our code without debugging, and let's what is your name? My name is Ali Raza. You have a good name. Greetings, Ali Raza. So let's also try the rest of the things, and my name is the Ghost. Greetings, Ghost. See you on the other side, Ghost. Definitely. Let's try with the last name, which is the weirdest one name, and Newton. You got a very weird name. Greetings, Newton. Definitely. Thanks, pal. Definitely. That's it till this statement. Tomorrow we will start from the looping, because looping is a very long topic. So I'm closing on the branching method, and we will start with the looping method from tomorrow, inshallah. So that's it from my guys. Stay tuned. Allah Hafiz.